Robinson's May was a chain of department stores from 1993 until 2006. Thank you for your suggestion.
It's the store-wide spring sale at Robinson's May.
You'll find 20 to 50% savings on the newest looks for spring in every Robinson's May store.
Save 20 to 50% on exciting spring fashions for your entire family.
Save on shoes, accessories, and terrific items for your home.
Plus, make no payment until July with 0% finance charges.
Spring is just around the corner, and you won't want to miss these special savings.
During the store-wide spring sale at Robinson's May.
Before the creation of the Robinson's May department store chain in 1993, there was the founding of two different companies. May Company California was established in 1923 when May acquired A. Hamburger & Sons, Inc. In 1881, he went to Los Angeles and founded a business, A. Hamburger & Sons, operating as the People's Store, which became the largest dry goods or department store in Southern California, catering to the working class customers. Asher, his sons Moses, David, and Solomon first opened the store on October 29, 1881, in a 20 by 70 foot room on Main Street near Requena Street, and was originally known as the People's Store. In 1882, only a year later, Hamburgers moved to 145 North Spring, in a space of 46 by 100 feet. In 1899, Hamburgers renovated and took over the entire Phillips block, all 4 floors plus the cellar. The space officially opened on June 1, 1899, and the store claimed to at the time have 3.5 acres or 150,000 square feet of floor space, and to be the largest retail store in the western U.S. By the start of the 20th century, A. Hamburger & Sons had outgrown its Spring Street location, which had 520 employees working on 5 floors. The Hamburger family decided to build a much larger store at the southeast corner of Broadway and 8th. Construction started in 1905 with the grand opening held in 1908. This location, which was also known as the Great White Store, was the largest department store building west of Chicago at the time, and would eventually become the flagship location for the May Company California. At the time of this opening, the store could boast of having one of the first escalators on the West Coast, several restaurants, a drugstore, grocery store, bakery, fruit store, meat market, U.S. Post Office, telegraph office, barbershop, a dentist, a chiropractor, a medical doctor, an auditorium, an electricity and steam power plant in the basement that was large enough to support a city of 50,000 inhabitants. The sheer size of this building reminded me of an aircraft carrier, a floating city, so to say. The building also housed a private volunteer 120-man fire brigade, 13 acres of retail space, which was about 482,000 square feet, larger than all of the department and clothing and dry goods stores in the city, and 1,200 employees. On March 31, 1923, the Hamburgers sold their store to the May family of St. Louis for $8.5 million, which is about $143 million today. Thomas and Wilbur May, sons of the founder of May Company, were sent to manage the former Hamburger store. The old Hamburger store was officially renamed the May Company in 1927. To keep pace with the extreme growth in population within Southern California during the Great Depression, May Company opened the first branch store in 1939 on Wilshire and Fairfax. The building cost over $2 million. After World War II, a second branch store was opened on October 10, 1947, along Crenshaw Boulevard at the northeast corner of Santa Barbara Street, now Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The store would later be integrated into the Broadway-anchored Crenshaw Plaza, directly across the street to the south. From 1952 to 1992, May opened stores across suburban Los Angeles and Southern California. More than 40 stores opened across the Southland. Most notable ones for me were the ones at Brea Mall, Santa Ana, Moreno Valley, Westminster, the City Mall in Orange, Riverside, Montclair, Costa Mesa, Whittier, Buena Park, West Covina, and Crenshaw. During the early years of the Southern California May Company, California, they were also a developer of some early nearby shopping centers and malls which grew around the initially standalone stores, with the Crenshaw location being the first example. During the 1980s, the parent corporation tried to replace the iconic Wilshire store for several years by getting involved with the mall development at Farmers Market. The development that eventually became The Grove at Farmers Market was delayed for nearly 2 decades. On October 17, 1992, May Company, California's parent, May Department Stores, announced the merger of May Company California with its sister company, J.W. Robinson's. The merger formed Robinson's May, thus ending the May Company California existence. It was also announced that the Wilshire store, along with the stores in West Covina, Buena Park, Santa Ana, and San Bernardino, were scheduled to close by the end of January of 1993. In 1882, Joseph Winchester Robinson left Waltham, Massachusetts, where he had operated a dry goods business, for California, intending to develop orange groves in Riverside. Upon his arrival, he found that he could better use his time not in the booming citrus business found in Southern California, but in its retail dry goods. He took an interest in the retail business in the small community of Los Angeles, and sensing that the area would grow and that the rough and tumble general stores of the day were doing a poor job of serving the public, he quickly returned to the East Coast and used his contacts in the dry good business to have merchandise shipped around Cape Horn to the new store he planned to open in Los Angeles. In February of 1883, the 1,400 square foot store, named the Boston Dry Goods Store, began business at the Allen Block at the corner of Spring and Temple Streets. He advertised his establishment was characterized by fine stocks and refined Boston service. In 1887, the store was forced to move to larger quarters on North Spring Street. The arrivals of the railroad spurred the enormous and long-lived growth of Southern California, and Robinson's store brought Eastern goods and their attendant sophistication to a willing and growing public. After returning from a trip back east in 1891, Robinson became ill and passed away at the age of 45 due to the complications of a cold. His father, H.W. Robinson, came to Los Angeles for the funeral and looked after the business founded by his late son, which was renamed the J.W. Robinson Company in honor of the late founder. The senior Robinson would become the Eastern agent of the large dry goods business of the J.W. Robinson Company, which his son had established in Los Angeles and left at his death. By 1896, the store moved to South Broadway, which catered to the more exclusive trade, according to the Los Angeles Times. Remaining under family control, the store was renamed J.W. Robinson Company, but continued to trade as the Boston Dry Goods Store until after the turn of the century. The larger location had moved to 239 South Broadway, which was opposite of City Hall. In the early days of the 20th century, the Los Angeles area grew and grew, especially with the arrival of the film industry. The store, which catered to the most exclusive trade, according to the Los Angeles Times, in 1911, expanded into adjacent properties, but it became apparent to management that the South Broadway location could not handle the store's growth into the future. In 1914, ground was broken on 7th Grand and Hope Streets for the J.W. Robinson Company's new flagship store. When it opened the following year, the 7-story building was described in the press as a retail palace. The new $1 million 7-story flagship store sat on over 9 acres, encompassed over 400,000 square feet of floor space along the south side of the West 7th Street, stretching along the complete block between Grand and Hope Streets. The building was expanded to the south in 1923 at a cost of $900,000, and when completed, totaled over 623,000 square feet. Robinson's was the largest store of what became a new upscale 7th Street shopping district to the southwest of the concentration of department stores along Broadway. Harry Robinson became president in 1924 of the J.W. Robinson chain, and he later renamed it Robinson's Department Store. After his passing in 1932, Virginia Robinson became the chairwoman, holding the position for 30 years until she retired at 85 years old. In 1934, the building was remodeled again, giving it a restrained modernistic exterior, shedding some of its more exuberant Art Deco features and adding more parking facilities. In 1952, Robinson slowly started to expand, opening their second store in Beverly Hills, a 236,000 square foot building. Associated Dry Goods bought Robinson's in 1955. At the time, the chain's sales were $32 million annually, with $12 million coming from the Beverly Hills branch. Construction from 1957 to 1958 at a cost of $280,000 on land purchased from Palm Springs pioneer Pearl McManus, the J.W. Robinson department store building opened its third store. In 1958, Robinson's opened its fourth store in Pasadena, marking the company's 75th anniversary, and made a triumphant addition to Pasadena's commercial landscape. The store included a 3-story concrete parking structure that could hold 700 cars. The Robinson chains considered their customers and their markets. They did not have to knuckle under the marketing dictates of a distant headquarters. New York stores may start stocking winter coats in August, but in Southern California, where it could reach 90 degrees in November, local stores could meet local needs. From the 50s and 60s, then the glories of so many stores with so many distinct personalities, and an economy with its foot on the accelerator demands, put recreational shopping high on the list of Southern California's de facto hobbies. During the 1960s, locations would open, starting in 1961 at the Panorama City Shopping Center, followed by Anaheim Plaza, the Glendale Fashion Center, Santa Barbara, Fashion Island in Newport Beach, and the Fashion Valley Mall in San Diego. In the 1970s, big discount stores began to siphon away some part of the department store trade as well. Robinson's would still continue to expand with more locations. In Los Cerritos Center, Woodland Hills Promenade, Puente Hills Mall, Westminster Mall, the Santa Anita Fashion Park, The Oaks in Thousand Oaks, and the University Town Center in La Jolla, California. There would be 34 locations in California and Arizona, and its parent company would use the Robinson's name in Florida, which had another 10 locations. There would be over 45 locations in all. In 1986, May department stores bought Associated Dry Goods, and with it, Robinsons now fell under the umbrella of the May department store. During the 1980s, additional locations were added at the Mission Viejo Mall, Santa Monica Place, Sherman Oaks Galleria, Del Amo Fashion Center, Horton Plaza, North County Fair, South Coast Plaza, Westfield Palm Desert, Santa Ana Main Place, and the Brea Mall. In 1989, May dissolved its Scottsdale, Arizona-based Goldwater's division, folding it into Robinsons, and its Phoenix area stores were rebranded as Robinsons. The former Goldwater's locations were at Fiesta Mall, Metro Center Mall, Paradise Valley Mall, Park Central Mall, and the Scottsdale Fashion Square. In 1992, May combined Robinsons and May Company California into a single brand, Robinsons May. All stores would change nameplates to Robinsons Bay by 1993. With both the May Company of California and the J.W. Robinson history fresh in your mind, the new combined chain was now known as Robinsons May. Its headquarters was at the former May Company California headquarters at its Laurel Plaza store in North Hollywood, Los Angeles. Both chains had operated exclusively in Southern California until 1989, when May Department Stores had dissolved its Goldwater division, which had locations in Scottsdale in the Phoenix metropolitan area and Las Vegas, Nevada. They were all rebranded as Robinsons May in 1993. In 1997, Robinsons May absorbed the Tucson area locations of its sister division, Foley's, which were themselves the remains of the former Levy's and Sanger Harris stores. Robinsons May was further expanded when they consolidated with Portland, Oregon-based Meyer & Frank in 2002, which retained its individual nameplate, but merged its primary headquarters into Robinsons May in North Hollywood. The operational control of the Robinsons May stores was assumed by Mays West. The Meyer & Frank stores were transferred to Macy's Northwest. When Federated took over May Department Stores Company on August 30th, 2005, Robinsons May was dissolved. Robinsons May had 45 stores at the time. 15 of its California stores were offered for sale under the agreement with the California State Attorney General, though Federated had retained several of the stores covered by the agreement since satisfactory offers from competitors were not received, including stores at Woodland Hills and Northridge. During 2006, the majority of the Robinsons May stores were converted to the Macy's or Bloomingdale's nameplate, either as replacement for existing stores, new locations, or as expansions of existing locations. Prime locations at South Coast Plaza, Costa Mesa, and Fashion Valley Mall in San Diego, where Macy's already had stores, were closed in early 2006 and refurbished as Bloomingdale's locations. The change of store signs occurred on September 9, 2006. Already existing Macy's locations in Arizona and the Inland Empire regions relocated from their existing spots to Robinsons May buildings. So what do you remember about this place? Leave a comment or a suggestion for a future video below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.
Bringing back memories from the good old days. That's super cool, man.